Hi, I'm Elliot from Now Go See It, and welcome to beautiful Buenos Aires. We are here, we're going to take you all around the city, to all the shops, all the sights, all the dining. We're going to eat lots of great food, and I'm going to sing Don't Cry For Me Argentina off the balcony at least 7 or 8 times.
We booked a 3-night stay at the Howard Johnson on Florida Street. It's affordable, clean, and perfectly located for exploring Buenos Aires without spending too much time in transit. You step outside and you're already where you need to be. It's not fancy, but it got the job done. We have a room tour up on the channel if you're interested in more information on this hotel.
The room itself is quite large actually for a hotel room.
Alright, logistics first, because Buenos Aires is one of those cities where your trip goes way better when you understand how it runs. Buenos Aires runs late. Dinner starting at 8 p.m. is normal. Dinner starting at 10 p.m. is also normal. If you're trying to eat at 6 p.m., it's going to feel like you showed up at a restaurant by accident while they're still setting up the tables. Plan heavier sightseeing for late morning and afternoon, then give yourself a reset before dinner. It's a great city for people who like to start their vacation days at 11 a.m. Money-wise, credit cards were accepted basically everywhere. We found it weirdly difficult to get Argentine pesos. We carried a small wad of $1 and $5 bills in US currency, and that ended up being useful for tips and small purchases. Just don't expect change back if you pay in US cash. Also, tipping is usually around 10 to 15% in restaurants, but it often doesn't work like it does at home. A lot of places won't let you add it onto the check. The tip is usually a separate transaction. Sometimes they had us tap the card a second time for the tip. Sometimes we left US cash on the table. Either way, just know that having some cash is important. Now, how we got around the city? Mostly on foot. A lot of the big sites are close enough that walking feels like the fastest option. When the distances got longer, we filled in the gaps with Uber, because Uber in Buenos Aires is cheap and it saves a ton of time when you're bouncing between neighborhoods like Recoleta, Palermo, and Telmo. Then there's the subway, the Subte. They just updated their payment system, so you can easily tap a chip credit card to pay. We used it twice and it worked great, but for the routes we needed, it ended up being about the same price as an Uber and a little bit slower. It's good to know it's there, especially if you're trying to avoid traffic at certain times or to save money, but we didn't end up building our days around it. And yes, there are buses everywhere, but when we tried to take one, it never came. So we ended up just walking. If you need one, hopefully you have better luck than we did. Let's jump into day 1 of our 3-day itinerary. We dropped our bags at the hotel, then made our way to Plaza San Martin. It's a big green space with statues and monuments. The standout here is Torre Monumental, that big clock tower that was a gift from the British. You can pay to go up for a view, but even from the ground level it's worth seeing because it's such a distinct landmark and it acres the whole area. From the plaza, you can also spot one of the architectural marvels of this part of the city, the Kavanaugh Building. It's an Art Deco legend from the 1930s, and when it was built it was a huge deal. Tallest in Latin America at the time, and one of those look what we can do engineering brags. Sadly you can't go inside, no tours. This is a look and appreciate from the park situation. From there we walk down Florida Street, which runs you from this area toward Plaza de Mayo. Florida Street is a major shopping artery, and it's touristy in parts, but it's also genuinely useful. What we liked about it is that it isn't the same wall-to-wall Gaps, H&M's, Zara's, and the same international chain stores that you see everywhere. There are some familiar names, but it's a lot more local brands, smaller shops, kiosks, and places that feel like locals shop here. It's also a street where you can cover a lot of ground fast because everything is right here. Snacks, random essentials, souvenirs, and local must-buys like leather or mate sets. We stopped at La Casa del Dulce de Leche because Buenos Aires loves dulce de leche. If you want edible souvenirs, this is a great place to start. And if you don't know what to buy, you can sample until you find your match. Then you've got Galerías Pacifico, the giant mall right on Florida Street. Even if you're not a mall person, it's worth ducking in because the interior is stunning. Also, it's a practical restroom break. Eventually, we hit Plaza de Mayo, and the first thing we did was go into the Cabildo. It's free, which automatically makes it easier to justify. And the best part for us was the building itself and the balcony view overlooking Plaza de Mayo from the second level. The exhibits were underwhelming, and they were fully in Spanish. So if you don't speak the language, make it a quick lap. Enjoy the architecture, take in the view, and move on before it turns into museum apathy. When you step back out into Plaza de Mayo, you feel the weight of the place. The square is a major historic and political center for Argentina. It's surrounded by the big names, Casa Rosada, the Metropolitan Cathedral, and government buildings framing the whole scene. It's also a place where people gather for political activism and civic events, not just tourism. So it has that "this place matters" energy. It's a meaningful stop because it helps you understand how Buenos Aires organizes itself around history and power. Casa Rosada is the headline. That pink facade is instantly recognizable, and even a quick stop here makes you feel like you checked off a major Buenos Aires icon. The president doesn't live there, but it's a major working seat of government. and there's a museum attached if you want more context and you're in the mood for it. We also visited another plaza icon, the Metropolitan Cathedral. The exterior looks different than what you might expect from a cathedral. The front has that columned, almost classical facade, and inside you've got frescoed ceilings, impressive detailing, and a lot of visual payoff without needing a ton of time. It's also famous because it was the home church of Pope Francis before he became Pope in 2013. So for a lot of visitors, that connection makes it a must. Even if you're not a church tour person, it's worth stepping in. From there, we walked over to the Obelisco at the intersection with Avenida 9 de Julio. The Obelisco is one of those landmarks that looks familiar before you even arrive because you've seen it in every Buenos Aires montage. In person, it's all about scale and location. Stop, queue up for your photo, then check it off the list. Avenida 9 de Julio is massive, and standing there makes you understand why people talk about it like it's an attraction on its own. It's a civil engineering masterwork that weaves cars, buses, bikes, and pedestrians, while still managing to be beautiful. Next up was Teatro Colón, and this is one of the big interior wins of the trip. The theater tour is great, but no video was allowed inside, so you'll have to be surprised when you get here. Also, book in advance, especially if you want the English tour, because English tours are less frequent. The interiors of the theater are lavish, and it really makes you understand why locals are so proud of this place. We wrapped up day one in Porto Madero, which feels like a different side of the city because it's newer and more polished. It's a great evening neighborhood because it's built for being out at night. We did happy hour drinks and dinner at Negroni, which is an easy stop if you want a break before committing to the rest of your night. It's comfortable, it's convenient, and its location along the water makes it easy to stay a while. Then we went over to Puente de la Mujer, the modern bridge that has a design inspired by the leg of a tango dancer. It's a quick stop, but it's a good one, especially once the lights start coming on. You can also visit the Air Uruguay Museum ship, which is a fast museum on a ship add-on right there in the area. It's one of those bonus stops that feels fun because it's different and doesn't require complicated planning. We were running out of energy after the red-eye inn plus a full day of walking, so we called it an early night. Day 2 started at Recoleta Cemetery. I recommend taking an Uber here because it's a little further outside of the city center. This cemetery is dramatic in a way that's hard to describe until you're inside it. The mausoleums are packed tight, it's a maze of marble, statues, and family vaults, and it's one of the most memorable stops in Buenos Aires even if you normally don't care about cemeteries. People come for Eva Perón's tomb, and you'll see visitors leaving flowers and pausing for a minute. But what sticks with you is the artistry and the variety. Some tombs look like miniature palaces, some look modern, some look like they belong in a movie set. It's easy to do a focused route, see the major sites, and move on before it starts blending together. If you want context, a short guided tour is worth considering here because it helps connect the names and the stories to what you're seeing. We have some recommended tours on our website, nowgoseeit.com. Scan the QR code or check the comments for a link to the full itinerary. Right next door, Basilica Nuestra Señora del Pilar is worth a quick stop. It's an easy add-on because you're already there, and it's a nice contrast after all the stone and marble. Then we walked over to the National Museum of Fine Arts for a quick visit. This is a smart stop because it's free and the collection is legit. You can do 30 minutes here and still feel like you got something out of it. It's also a great cool-down stop if the weather is warm and you've been outside a lot. After that, we went back outside to see Flores Generica, which is a giant metal flower sculpture that looks exactly like it sounds. It's weird and dramatic, it opens and closes with the light. Sadly, we didn't have all day to stand there waiting for flower mechanics to change, but it's still worth seeing because it's such an iconic artistic landmark. Nearby, we also stopped into the National Museum of Decorative Arts, and we loved it because it's a mix of classic architecture and modern art installations. The building is the star, it's free, it's high impact, and you can move quickly through it without feeling like you missed the point. Next, we headed to the Japanese Garden in Palermo, and this was one of our favorite reset stops of the trip. It's paid entry, but it's worth it when you want a clean, well-kept outdoor space to slow the pace for a bit. The ponds, the bridges, the landscaping, the koi. This place is designed to look good from basically every angle. And there's an on-site cafe too. Close by is the Rose Garden. It's nice, but if you just did the Japanese garden, it's gonna feel a little overshadowed. If you have extra time, it's a pleasant free stop. If you're trying to keep the day packed, you can skip it without regret. Then we spent time in Palermo Soho, which is the unique shopping neighborhood of Buenos Aires. Lots of boutiques, home goods, design-forward shops, murals, and plenty of places to stop when you need a coffee break. We also caught an outdoor market, which made it even more fun to browse because it wasn't just storefronts. Palermo is also great for that. I'm gonna wander until I find something style of travel, because the neighborhood rewards you for turning down a random street. We Ubered back toward our hotel for a quirky happy hour at Risto Bar Porrito Pirata. It scratched an itch for something weird and pirate-themed, but I don't think we'd recommend it. We finished day 2 with the best meal of the trip and one of the best meals of my life at Santos Majoritas. This place is a neighborhood parrilla that delivers. We ordered a skirt steak to share, plus chorizo, grilled veggies, and fries. Everything was simple, perfectly cooked, and exactly what you want when you came to Buenos Aires to eat like this. No tiny plates, no dramatic presentation, just great meat, great sides, and the kind of meal that makes you start talking about it again the next morning. We will compare all future steaks to this steak. Day 3 was a Sunday, and that was perfect for San Telmo. We started at Mercado de San Telmo, and then worked our way into Feria del San Telmo and Plaza de Rego. Sundays are when this area turns into a full street fair zone. It gets busy. Inside the market, you've got food stalls, antiques, and random objects that make you stop and go, why is this here and why do I kind of want it? Outside, the Sunday fair stretches along the streets with crafts, art, souvenirs, and plenty of things that are half, I want this, and half, this will be funny on a shelf at home. Plaza de Rego is the anchor, and it's a great spot to pause, take it all in, and decide where to go next. If you're not visiting on a Sunday, the area is still worth visiting, but the vibe is different. You'll find antique shops and a lot of character, but the giant fair zone is the Sunday specialty. If your Buenos Aires dates are flexible, try to make a Sunday land on your San Telmo day. It's worth it. We ate at La Chirapana, and it was perfect for a late breakfast that turns into lunch. Big flavors, fast, and exactly what you want before you keep going. It's also the kind of meal that makes you feel like you're doing the city correctly. Then we did second lunch, because Buenos Aires is a foodie city that makes second lunch feel completely reasonable. Cafe Tortoni is the famous old school cafe, and the interiors are the whole reason you go. Dark wood, mirrors, vintage details, and the kind of place where you look around before you even sit down. Expect a line at peak times. We had media lunas, churros, and El Submarino, which is a hot milk with a chocolate bar that you dunk and melt yourself. It's fun, it feels classic, and you'll leave with sugar confidence. You'll feel unstoppable for about 45 minutes. In the afternoon, we took a tour of Paseo Burillo, and this was one of my favorite things we did in Buenos Aires. The building is themed around Dante's Divine Comedy, and the tour makes it click in a way that's more interesting than it sounds on paper. You're moving through different parts of the building, hearing the story behind the design choices. The lobby is literally designed to be hell. The middle office spaces rented out as places of work are purgatory, who can relate? Then you get the payoff at the top with the views from heaven. And if your tour includes going up into the lighthouse, that's the moment. It's such a unique feature and it makes the whole tour feel special. Side note, we went back at night to see the short window, about 10 minutes at 10 p.m. when the lighthouse is illuminated. It's a fun little bonus if you're staying close enough to make it easy. It's not across the city for its situation, but if you're nearby, it's a cool detail to add to your night. We finished the afternoon in La Boca. The neighborhood is anchored by the stadium, La Bombonera, home of Boca Juniors. And even if you're not a soccer person, the sports culture here is intense. The main reason most visitors come is Caminito, with the colorful buildings, street performers, souvenir stands, and the photo-heavy backdrops you've definitely seen online. It's touristy, and you'll feel that immediately, but it's still fun if you treat it like what it is, a classic stop where you take the pictures, browse the stalls, and enjoy the energy for an hour or two. There's indoor and outdoor food and shopping, street music going in different corners, and enough quirky side attractions like a wax museum that can keep it interesting. Also here you'll find Paroa, the contemporary art space in the area, which is a great contrast when you've been surrounded by souvenirs and street stalls. And the harbor views and general setting make La Boca feel different than the rest of the city, which is why it works well as a day 3 contrast stop. We ended the trip with dinner at El Marisol, with more steak and sausage, because when you're in Buenos Aires, you do not leave without committing to at least one more parrilla. It's classic, it delivers what you want, and it's a great way to close out your time here. They have multiple locations around the city, which is useful if you're trying to fit it into your schedule without crossing town. Reservations are recommended. That wraps up our 3 days in Buenos Aires. If you want the full itinerary with maps, links, and all the exact spots we mentioned, go to nowgoseeit.com. Scan this QR code to take you there or click the link in the description. If you found this useful, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. We have a lot more from this trip up on the channel or coming soon, including our ferry day trip from Buenos Aires to Uruguay and the rest of our Argentina route to Porto Iguazu Falls. If you want more worldwide travel inspiration, check out the other videos and playlists on the channel so you can keep traveling with us. Now go see Buenos Aires, Argentina.